The Hisense U7G versus the Hisense U8G. Which one should you buy? That's what I'm going to answer in today's video. So smack a like on it because today I'm getting to the point right now. Essentially, the U7G touts one benefit over the U8G. It has a wide arrangement positioning that can also be made shorter for your stand. So depending on your media console, you have the ability to have an adjustment that fits you. Now, the U8G doesn't have that, but it does have a lot of other things which I'll talk about now. The contrast is one of the big things that you'll notice. The difference between light and dark can be perceived way easier, leading to an added sense of depth and immersion. Now, in addition to that, you do have better local dimming. And the local dimming gives you better uniformity in your black levels. So when you're watching subtitles or anything that's just generally really dark and inky, it really does appear a lot closer to OLED than the U7G will. Not to say the U7G doesn't look good, but the U8G does it a lot better. Now, in terms of the picture quality, it's further enhanced by its 1500 nits of peak brightness. And in my measuring, I measured over 1500 nits of peak brightness. So you're going to be experiencing explosive highlights whether you're watching over-the-air TV or you're just watching a 4K HDR movie. Either way you go, it's going to look better on the U8G. Now, because you have a higher level of peak brightness and you have really deep black and better contrast ratios being thrown out with the U8G, you're experiencing a wider color volume. And the color volume is unlocked when you start hitting higher levels of peak brightness, displaying certain levels of your primary colors and colors in general that you just couldn't hit at lower levels of peak brightness. But it doesn't just stop there. You also have a wider color gamut in general, so it's just typically better at displaying more vibrant images with a wider array of color. Think of it like pencils in a pencil box, and it does a beautiful job of getting all of those really nice colors that you want to see, just really, quite honestly, just really strikingly spot on. And I think that was one of the real things that I noticed going to the U7G. I had to work a little bit more with it than I did with the U8G. So that's something that you might want to think about. Another thing with the U8G is that out of the box, it is easier to calibrate and adjust than the U7G. That is something that I ran into. Now, Hisense is sending over a secondary U7G, so I'll confirm if that's the case before really putting a final review out there. But I will definitely have to say for the moment, it does have a little bit of a greenish tint to it that needs a little bit of adjusting. But again, like I was saying, these things do go from unit to unit, so I won't harp too much on that. Now, another benefit of the U8G is that it's chrome trimmed. So it looks a lot more luxurious than what you'd find on the U7G, but at the same token, the U7G is no slouch. It has shinier brushed metal at the bottom than what you'd find on the U8G, and it still sports a chrome insignia and logo. So they are very similar. I think the last thing that's really noteworthy between the U7G and U8G is that the U8G is going to have the anti-glare finish on the screen where the U7G does not. So I think if you hate reflections and you want the better reflection diffusing, you're going to go with the U8G. Now, honestly speaking, what I love about Hisense is that they're really good about when they make a junior flagship model like the U7G, they don't take away a bunch of features to arbitrarily force you into upgrading into their more expensive model. Instead, the U7G is really similar to the U8G, so I can totally see how so many people are wondering what is the difference on paper. They look very similar. I can totally understand that because the user interface is exactly the same, but also the picture presets and feature options are basically exactly the same. So I think it's really great. You still have the same VRR, you still have the same number of HDMI 2.1 ports, you still have the same color management system. I mean, overall, it is a very equivalently matched or similarly matched, I should say, offering. And there are some obviously higher end features, as you heard, that you get with the U8G and the price increase. But if those things really aren't as paramount to you as just having a really kick-ass competent TV, then buy the Hisense U7G and you'll win either way. If you found this video helpful, please smack a like on it. And as always, thank you so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty. Until the next video, I'll see you guys later.